Hey there, fans of brotherly love wrestling. It is I, Victorlicious.
Philly's own, the Mecca here.
It is the real McCoy, J.D.X. Justin D. Xavier. And
it's your man, CD, the fallen angel, Christopher Daniels.
Hello, boys and girls. This is your old friend RJ City.
Hey there, brotherly love wrestling. Bill Carr here.
Hey everyone, this is two-time guest Wheeler Yuta.
Two bozos from Philadelphia flapping their gums about pro wrestling this, pro wrestling that.
Which is not that unique in the grand scheme of things yet.
You are in for a treat because you're tuned in to Brotherly Love Wrestling.
Philadelphia, are you ready?
No! They said, are you ready?
This is Brotherly Love Wrestling Podcast, your first stop for everything professional wrestling. So sit back and enjoy wrestling talk at its finest with your hosts, Larry Hall and Joe Corrado.
Welcome, everybody, to Brotherly Love Wrestling. We are your host. I'm Larry Hall. That is Joe Corrado. And we are back just talking wrestling. No guests with us tonight. And
no hold barred.
So with Double or Nothing coming up and WWE building to Hell in a Cell, not Hall in a Cell, Hell in a Cell. I am not in the cell.
Wait, I just got a good visual of this you. How did I get in this crazy cell?
So I do want to start with WWE because I feel like, and it just could be me, but I feel like Monday Night Raw has substantially gotten better from
it's
where
fucking long.
It is. Oh, well, I mean, yeah, of course, 3 hours is too long, but
you
as
say
far
one good
as
thing, I'm going to say one bad thing.
Storyline goes, I feel like even with the Sasha and Naomi thing happening with the women, which we could touch sort on that if we want, since everybody has an opinion on this in wrestling.
I'm so baffled about the whole thing. I just don't know. It's weird because you don't trust wrestling. You're taught to never. You're taught to. It's almost like sleight of hand. Like you're taught to never want to believe anything. I mean, with social media now, everything's out there.
Yes.
But all right, so I'll say it this way. This is real, that it's fucked up how WWE is handling this. And I feel I'm leaning more towards this is real than not, but then again, you're taught to not believe anything or believe everything that you're seeing. That's it. You're taught to believe everything you see.
Yeah.
But suspend belief.
Exactly. See, I think I'm back and forth on WWE handling this wrong. I believe they're very childlike in the announcements and the statements that they're releasing.
As much as Vince doesn't pay attention to social media, he's really antagonizing that demographic.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. But I like,
or he could just be an asshole.
Oh, I think that's a given. But I don't blame WWE for being mad at them. I feel like this is more Sasha Banks driven than it is Naomi driven. I don't know, man. Like, honestly, obviously, none of us know their side of the story. We know the WWE side or the statement that WWE wants to put out and portray. But
Naomi's got as much beef as Sasha does.
Do you think really?
Naomi doesn't get put. I mean, Sasha's been main event of WrestleMania. Naomi hasn't been able to touch that. I mean, she's had like an outpouring since her return to like garner new fans. Mm-hmm. Like she was like talked about outside of the wrestling realm. And she had that mainstream popularity, and WWE did nothing with it. And she's got as much beef as Sasha, if not more. Sasha was pushed several times. She's held numerous titles. She's been the top, probably. I mean, she's one of the 4 horsewomen now. So you look at it, she's up there with Flair. She's up there with Bailey.
I would put her at 2, like right behind Charlotte. As far as in ring,
I'm just talking about star power of the 4, because Becky's star has risen substantially.
Yeah, but I still think Sasha's more. I mean, you just add the Mandalorian in there. I think Sasha and
Mainstream,
Snoop.
you are correct.
But yeah, no, I think
she's probably above Charlotte then.
Yeah, you're right. She might be. Charlotte, I feel like's better in the ring, but not by much. Like I feel like Sasha is right there. I love Sasha.
I think they're all a solid A.
Yeah.
In the ring. But Naomi's right there with them.
Yes. Yeah, I think she's underrated by a lot of people, and she is great. I think her presentation, everything about her is amazing.
She's more athletic than the bulk of the women's roster and probably the men's roster.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Obviously, because not everything is out and both sides aren't out. It's unfortunate, though, because you're losing, like we said, 2 amazing talents, top-level women, top-level wrestlers, period, entertainers. And is WWE going to suffer? No, because it's a machine. It's going to keep moving, just like it always keeps moving, no matter who they lose or who goes away.
Yeah, but I think this is one of those circumstances where neither party really loses, so to speak. Like, I know WWE will just keep churning, but I think that Sasha can fall back in Hollywood, which she probably will, and she'll probably ride that out. So WWE will probably become a secondary, much like Cena, The Rock. She's just doing it a lot sooner, but you got to strike while the iron's hot. But Naomi, whatever she decides to do, she'll have great success at it. So, I mean, it sucks if this is, I don't know if this is a way to give them time off and a horrible booking way to do so, just to make yourself look bad. But then again, for Vince, any publicity is good publicity. So,
well, I mean, speaking of time off, look, Randy Orton, they started Raw with Matt Riddle last night, or Riddle, and probably the first time I actually was emotionally invested in Matt Riddle on the mic. He actually got me because for some reason, it seemed like he was upset.
Yeah, becoming a new dad. This made you soft.
First of all, I've always been a Riddle fan from his days in the Indies. I thought he was incredible.
First of all, I've always been soft.
No. But no, like I was shocked. Like I sat back and watched because I was watching the beginning of Raw live, and watching Riddle cut that promo. It was something that we haven't seen from Riddle yet because he's always he played that stoner comedy role this whole time, and he's kind of when he was with Orton and RK Bro, he was still the same. It wasn't much different, but now after last night's promo, I was impressed. Like I was shocked he got me, and I was like, man, good for him. Like he's stepping up. And I think Orton obviously is taking some time off and well deserved. So now it's time to push Riddle, even though they put him with the Street Profits on Monday Night Raw. I think now it's okay. Hopefully WWE books this right. You saw what they did with Keith Lee and Karrion Kross. They dropped the ball big time with those guys. You got to hope that at least Riddle's more over, I think, out of all 3 on the main roster. You
also got Roman going on a later schedule.
Yes.
So you're gonna need to make a couple more stars so people actually, because Roman's the top of the mountain. I mean, both figuratively speaking and literally.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, they're doing a good job with Cody. Seth will always be there. There's a McIntyre, Lashley, Styles,
Balor.
Yeah, not Balor so much. Maybe KO. KO could definitely be in there again. But just for a main title picture, like to hold the fort down if Roman is on a later schedule.
I think Roman's going to be on the lighter schedule, but I think he's going to be more a la Brock Lesnar. I think he's going to have the title, and we're not going to see the title defended until probably SummerSlam. I know he's not wrestling at Hell in a Cell. I don't see him wrestling at Money in the Bank, and I see it being SummerSlam, and I see it being Cody. I think it's Cody Reigns at SummerSlam because I don't think you're getting that at Mania. I think that's reserved for The Rock, as the rumors came out earlier this week that The Rock doesn't have anything to do the first quarter of 2023.
How convenient.
Yeah, the January to April, all of a sudden the Rock schedule is wide open.
$8 million. Could you please keep this date open? All right, Papa Vince. For $8 million, I guess I will.
But they were talking about it on Busted Open, and when they talking about it, I sort of got lost in my own head thinking about The Rock coming back. I'm like, man, imagine the pop at like number 24 in the Royal Rumble, and you hear The Rock's music hit, and because they don't announce it, they keep it quiet, and the fucking God, it's literally giving me chills, literally chills up and down my arms just thinking of hearing that music again and having him walk through the curtain at the Rumble. It's still The Rock. Like, I can't wait. Yes, absolutely. Electrifying. For lack of a better term, absolutely. So I hope that happens. I hope we get Rock Roman at Mania. But yeah, I think Cody and Reigns, I think Cody wins the briefcase, and in typical stupid babyface fashion, he announces he's going to face Roman at SummerSlam and cash in that. But I think this build with Seth is just kind of padding that, just like AEW does with their win-loss column, and they were building Adam Cole. Like Adam Cole, you know what I mean, has gone on this streak since getting there. Same thing WWE's doing with Cody, except they're not saying their wins and losses matter. But it's still making...
Cody's saying the wins and losses matter, though.
He is, yes. Yeah. But he can. You know what I mean? Because...
he's definitely the guy that came up with that in AEW.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. I agree. But I want him, I don't know. I'm so torn if I want him to win the title. I don't want him to win the title because I want Reigns to be for the title. And they could easily give it back, but I feel like you can't stop Reigns' momentum with the championship by him losing to Cody.
I don't think you could stunt Cody's momentum either.
So how do you book it if you're going to do that?
All right, so much like Austin this year and KO, there's nothing that says that Roman has to go against The Rock for the title. I don't.
Yeah, that necessarily does not need a title. You're right.
As a matter of fact, that can easily main event either night and be the last match, but because they're doing 2 nights now, so you have, I don't know, you build a Cody KO for the title and have that night 1, and you have Reigns Rock main event night 2 for the head of the table. I mean, I wouldn't do it that way, just because the main title should be the main match.
Yeah.
But you're going to get The Rock Reigns. So if WWE, I mean, they did do Austin night 1 though.
Yeah. Yeah, they did.
So if you're going to do this where Reigns is going to go to Hollywood or do a lighter load, a la John Cena, I don't know. I mean, how many times have they shot themselves in the foot and booked their soon-to-be gone superstar the championship, and then you don't get – that's 2 titles now because the title's now unified. So now you have no main titles on the show at all. So if you're going to need stars, you're going to need that title for people to be even remotely interested. And they're doing a very, very good job of getting Cody over right now, or Cody's doing a good job of getting himself over. I mean, I'd have Cody win the title, push him to the stratosphere that he wants to be and he thinks he can get to them to, and let Roman go on the part-timer schedule. Let him be the special attraction.
Without the title.
Of course. Of course.
When do you take the title off of Reigns? How long is this run? Then when do you stop it?
SummerSlam.
You stop it at SummerSlam. You have him run all the way to so wait. So then
it's only August.
So what you're saying is The Rock comes back and basically it's just there's obviously no need for him to win the Rumble in that case. But he just basically comes back and goes, "You're not the tribal chief. You're not the head of the table. I'm the head of the table."
I don't think Rock needs to come and win. I'm trying to build stars. I'm trying to continue storylines and let this be a special attraction, and that's all that it is.
Yeah.
Look, Rock on a pay-per-view already doubling your views, or not, if not more. You might get like 3 times more than what you were gonna originally get with just The Rock being on the card. Doesn't need to be for the title. He just needs, look, Austin just needed to be there. Just needed to be, look, and they did it stupid, but it ended up working in the end.
You think it was stupid?
Not bad stupid, but stupid. I'm not saying it was bad stupid. It was just dumb. I mean, it was like, why was he all of a sudden just calling out Texas?
Okay.
There was really no reason to be calling out Texas, but all of a sudden KO has got a huge problem with the state of Texas.
Yeah. Okay. I see what you're saying.
Kind of dumb.
Yeah,
Kind of fucking stupid. But the end result was great.
Yeah.
It was dumb how it started, but once you get them together, like just like once you get this Roman with Heyman, and then you get Rock on the other side, he doesn't need to. All it needs to do is Roman needs to just really hammer in on this tribal chief. Just hammer it in, even more than usual. Have the family come out and acknowledge him. The whole family.
Mm-hmm.
Talking about all of them, all the motherfucking Samoans, come out and acknowledge him as the tribal chief, and then you bring The Rock in because he's the only one left that hasn't come in and acknowledged him. That's it. That's it. Cody can have the title. Cody can have great defenses. Rollins can intermix in there. I mean, Cody's interchangeable. He's got great promo ability, and he's really got a gauge on the fans that he's trying to get.
I feel like a Cody Rhodes as champion is easier as far as booking because it's more realistic of Cody losing. He could lose to a Seth Rollins. He could lose to a KO. He could lose to an AJ Styles or a Matt Riddle if they're going to build that way. You know what I mean? That way you're able to switch in and out. And like when we were younger, how the title would switch hands a lot. Yeah, I mean, you could go 3-4 different guys getting the title: Hunter, Mankind, Rock, Austin. You know what I mean? Switch back and forth.
I said that's how it should have been for a while now.
Mm-hmm.
I hate with a passion a long title reign. It is so boring. It is. No matter how you spend it, the match, you might get a couple good matches in there, but it's so boring.
I feel like Roman has made this at least tolerable and entertaining.
Yeah, with his promos and all that are great, but I mean, you don't see him. I don't like when they build one person and no one else can beat that one person. Never saw that with Austin or The Rock. They could be beaten. Like, you don't see like those crazy long Triple H, Michaels could all be beaten.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't like this unbeatable person nowadays when there's so much wrestling out there and you put this one person at the top of all wrestling.
Well, now, especially because you have unified, undisputed champion. There's only one. There's not, you know what I mean? Yeah. The Raw and SmackDown or WWE and Universal. Now it's one, and same thing with the tag titles. The tag titles now being unified, and the Usos.
That's fine. They don't do enough with the tag titles. They shouldn't have to. They don't have enough tag teams that they're building. But they have enough top talent that they focus on in the singles that should all have a crack. Like, look at Balor when he was the Demon. I think that was like the last time that I suspended belief, and I thought that Balor was going to actually beat Roman for that split second until the ring did something goofy and it somehow spontaneously combusted. But for that split second, I was like, holy shit, he can actually do this. They had me to that point of where I believe that Roman could actually lose this match. It wasn't very many times where I actually went in. I was like, Roman's probably going to lose.
I think the KO last man standing match was mine.
Which he did lose.
Yes. Theoretically, he lost. But yeah, that was it.
They should have just ran with that. But I get it. The end game is Rock Roman should not be for the title at all. If it's going to be Rock, do it just how you had Austin in, except don't call out the state of Texas, although they're pretty jacked up at the moment. I mean, anyway, not to get too fucking crazy political, but no, just have them hammer in the tribal chief, and
not only that, it being in Hollywood, that
it's in Hollywood.
Yes.
Oh,
yeah.
No brainer. He doesn't need to be for the title.
Yeah. Because imagine the names, the Hollywood names that are going to be there.
Here's what you run into. If Roman has the title and he beats The Rock, he's beaten everybody. Every big name. I don't care how old they are, if they're part-timers or not, but he's taken down arguably the Mount Rushmore of wrestlers, sports entertainers, whatever the fuck you want to call them. But he's become unbeatable at that point.
That's my thing. Is he beats The Rock? He should be champion. Like if he's that dominant to beat The Rock, he shouldn't lose the title. If he's going through Brock at Mania, which he just did and unified the titles, and he is the ultimate, there's no way he should lose to Cody. And I love Cody, and I think Cody should be champion, and mostly because I want him to bring the wingtip title back. But I can't then see him losing to Cody. I can't. You can't do it. You can't lose to Cody and then beat The Rock. Like
you can.
I mean, of course you can't do anything. But I don't know.
Here's the thing, though. At least with The Rock, you can at least put in the ring rust and the whole. If you have a Cody at the top of his game right now, and he's at the tippity top of his game, losing doesn't do him any favors. He should reach the top of the mountain quick. And there's a star. You've created a star right away. Like you can have Roman still beat The Rock. The Rock isn't The Rock of how many years ago? 15, 20 years ago.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I agree. I don't think it needs the title, but if Roman's unbeatable, I don't see taking the title off it.
Roman could also cheat to beat fucking The Rock.
Yeah. Yeah.
That wouldn't make any sense because then they would be like somehow setting up for another match.
Yeah, that's probably not going to happen. Just one and done.
I'm just saying Roman can lose the title but still beat The Rock.
Of course he can. And I agree. I don't think it needs it. I feel like it makes it unquestionably, I think it's unquestionably the main event anyway, but unquestionably main event now.
Why would you just have Cody come in and cash the title in, not like the babyface?
Wait, when?
Win Money in the Bank and cash in on Roman.
At SummerSlam or at Mania?
No, not at. That would
See,
cool.
I don't like that either because I don't want to intertwine that story. What do you have? Roman beat Rock and then Cody come out and beat Roman?
Yeah.
Nah, I don't know. I feel like if Cody is in this story where he wants to, not avenge is the wrong word, make his own path behind and get past the shadow of Dusty, that's not the way you want him winning the title. You want him scratching, clawing, bleeding, tears to get to that title, not, beating a guy after he's had a 20-minute match, 15, 17-minute match for the main event.
He has to beat him at SummerSlam now. That's 2 months of solid booking that we could actually get this done. He already said he wants to be. That's what he's going for. That's why he's here.
Mm-hmm.
So they just got to make it happen.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm torn because I want to see Cody as champion, but I love the momentum that Roman has, and I love the bloodline. I think them dominating. I really like when a faction takes over like this, and it's kind of how why I like New Day so much because of what they did. But I don't know. I'm so torn. I don't know what I want really. So this weekend coming up, Double or Nothing, unquestionably probably the biggest pay-per-view on AEW's schedule when it comes to pay-per-views.
Is it bigger than All In? You think this is their biggest pay-per-view?
I think Double or Nothing is.
Yeah.
I think Double or Nothing is. I think it's, look, 11, not including the pre-show, 10 giant matches. Every match, I look up and down this card. There's not, and don't get me wrong, I like Jade Cargill a lot, but her versus Anna Jay for the TBS title, that's the kind of one I I can live without. But everything else,
here's that. I don't think it's going to be a bad match or whatnot, but I do think that they're really saving Jade's first loss to something bigger than Anna Jay.
yeah, I'll agree with that.
I think
Absolutely.
it's going to be like a surprise or something like that, where her first loss is going to be big. And
Yes.
it's going to be like, I don't know, but they're going to build her to be like this huge star, and then whoever comes and beats her has got to be a huge star.
Say a Naomi.
I don't even know if Naomi beats her. I don't think
I don't think
I don't
Sasha's
know.
going there.
I don't think so either, but I don't. Here's how I look at that: the Jade Cargill thing. This is homegrown for them. They're building her. I don't think you have someone from WWE come in and beat her. And it would have to take.
Who's bigger? I mean, aside from a WWE person, who is bigger?
I don't know.
Is there anyone bigger out there in the world of wrestling?
I don't think there is, but just
I'll give you one that could be built bigger, and that's Camille from the NWA. That match has been talked about and wanted for a long time now. Camille versus Jade Cargill, because you have these big women who are dominant, who look like they're sculpted out of clay with their bodies. They're amazing, and I think
not out of clay.
Well,
definitely something like concrete or something.
But they are
chiseled and forged in iron.
They are amazing, and to have those two stand across the ring from each other face to face for the TBS title.
See, I think what that does, I don't think Camille beats Jade. Not if it's held at like. Here's the thing: someone from AEW is probably going to beat her. Someone who's an AEW talent. If I was booking it.
Mm-hmm.
You make her this massive star and have someone.
Is it Nyla Rose?
No.
Do you think they lost Nyla Rose? Do you think that Native Beast is kind of in the back burner at this point now for AEW?
I don't know. I think she's lost her dominance.
That's what I'm saying. But it's kind of lost that luster of she's dominant and no one can beat her.
I mean, she's dominant in a mid-card-ish setting, but I
sort
think
of like the women's version of Lance Archer.
Yeah, I say he's dominant in a lower mid, but once he gets a higher mid-card match, he's still getting beat. It's a weird way to put things, but yeah, I don't think they're top of the card anymore. I think they have other people that they're pushing. Like I think Tony Storm's going to be there. I don't know what the hell they did with Ruby Soho. I mean, Ruby Soho came in and was like extremely over, and then nothing.
Well, she's in the Owen Hart Cup.
No,
she's in the semis.
But I mean, like, she came in and they fizzled her out. Like, I feel like she would have burned for a while, and they slowed her momentum down. Like, now I don't even see her winning that tournament.
I was going to say, so we have Statlander versus Soho in the semis, and then Tony Storm versus Britt Baker. So who do you have in the finals and winning?
So here's the thing. I think Soho beats Statlander, unfortunately.
Really?
I want Statlander to win because I think Statlander's that right at the top echelon of champion status.
Mm-hmm.
But I think Soho goes over. Now Britt Baker's a wild card because Britt Baker, I don't know if I ever see her losing, but this is also a tournament, so I don't think this hurts her if she does lose. Because let's face it, wins and losses, do they actually matter?
No.
Has anyone really focused on that as much anymore?
No.
That was real cool when they started, but has anyone caught up with this? Like some people are like 52 and like 13. Who's that even? Like that's a pretty good fucking record. Like how are you not
good win percentage?
Yeah, that's a great win. Like how are you not a multiple time champion with that win percentage? And you got guys that are like 12-3, and they're like top contenders. You got guys like 50-something and 10. You're gonna tell me he's not a multiple champion? This guy, like, it's like the fucking 90s Bulls. He's not won 6 titles at this point. Like, what the fuck? You know, does it really matter? These fucking stupid stats.
Who wins the final? So it's obviously Soho, you said.
I think Soho loses the Storm.
Ooh. Okay.
Tony Khan is up and down with the new toys that he gets. I think Tony Storm's going to be too shiny of a new toy to not want to play with for a while. and I don't mean that in any weird way at all. But I mean, you saw once he got Adam Cole, like that was his new shiny toy. Like everything else was kind of put to the back burner. Okay, we got to get this guy in everything.
All right,
He's gotta be in
so
everything.
you said Adam Cole. You have Adam Cole in the finals already, but you have a Kyle O'Reilly versus Samoa Joe. Now, on one hand, you have Samoa Joe, who's, I mean,
You have
bona fide badass, or you have the match of which we've already seen in WWE or NXT, Kyle O'Reilly versus Adam Cole, but in AEW this time, probably a longer leash than what NXT gave them, even though NXT gave them a lot, but they can basically do whatever the hell they want in AEW if you're getting O'Reilly versus Cole. So which one do you have Kyle O'Reilly beat Samoa Joe? Not that that's unlikely, but I mean, the size difference kind of puts Kyle O'Reilly, I mean, a little bit behind Samoa Joe.
I'm not going to go off of the size or anything like that because I think Samoa Joe is legitimately beatable to someone of Kyle O'Reilly's caliber. But I'll say 2 things that are going against O'Reilly are, one, tag team specialist, and they're not probably going to push a tag team specialist in this singles tournament. He's made it far enough, I think. And you have Cole, who's a singles competitor, makes sense. And then you have Samoa Joe, who's also happens to be a major champion for the other company that you just bought. And if you want to keep that somewhat reputable and relevant, which I think they've been doing a good enough job with keeping the ROH titles for the most part relevant.
Until they can get Ring of Honor on TV.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think Joe beats Kyle O'Reilly, although I can see, I'll side note this, I can see AEW wanting to really stick it to NXT and give them the time again, Kyle O'Reilly and Adam Cole, to do it how they want to do it and kind of do like, because when are you ever going to get that final, like when are you going to be able to, like when will it ever get to that point again where these two are against each other?
Yeah, because I feel like everyone pretty much assumes once Omega comes back, you're going to get that power struggle between Omega Bucks versus Red Dragon and Cole.
The Undisputed Elite.
Yeah, but if they're Undisputed Elite now, if they split up, they're not Undisputed Elite anymore.
They can still be the Elite and then the Undisputed Elite. The original Elite with Kenny and the Bucks versus the Undisputed Elite, where it's just a branch off of what they were, and they're still the Undisputed Era.
Yeah.
They still get to be the UE.
Yeah. That's funny.
So that side note, I could see that actually happening, but what I think should happen is Joe should win. It should be Joe versus Cole.
I think Cole should win.
I think Joe should win.
Really?
Yeah.
I think we should make this interesting. If Joe wins, we should put a bet to see who wins. I definitely think Cole.
If Joe wins, you have to legally change your name to Joe for a week. You have to
legally change my name to Joe for a week, just to legally change it back.
Yes. Come on, man. We got to make some power moves for this show. I will videotape you down at the wherever the hell you have to go to change your name.
Probably Doylestown, because we're in Bucks County.
Not a far drive at all. We
No.
can go. You can legally change your name to Joe. But you have to think of something just as obnoxious for me. Temporary obnoxiousness. if Cole wins.
Because yours kind of works on both levels. Like, because Samoa Joe won, I changed my name to Joe, but your name is Joe, so I would have the same name as you. So I get that. So I get the double there. So that has to be really hard for me to kind of stick it to you. How would I do that in the same way?
I'm not going to give you any hints.
I'm gonna. Man, I want to find a way of doing this. So I want to change your middle name to Michaels, as in Shawn Michaels.
Joe Michaels Corrado.
yeah. I want you legally? To be legally. Yeah, absolutely.
So either way, one of us is driving down to fucking Doylestown. This is it might have backfired greatly.
But no, I think Adam Cole wins anyway. But especially because you go into the rest, I feel like Kyle O'Reilly will find a way, or they'll do something backhanded if Kyle O'Reilly loses to Joe, soften him up a little bit, have the excuse. But then again, Joe, being the babyface, could probably come out on top with all the odds stacked against him. So I don't know. I kind of hope Adam Cole wins the Owen Hart tournament.
I hope for this Owen Hart tournament, I hope it would be straight up and to actually do it justice, to where it's just a straight up match and no shenanigans or nothing like that. They just, because I mean, Owen Hart is one of the best technical wrestlers to ever grace our TV screens. And it would be a shame if they did it injustice by having shenanigans. This should be,
I agree.
And this should be like Brett Owen.
Yeah, I agree.
And that's why freaking Dax should have been in it. He would have made sure.
How about that, by the way? Shawn Michaels guy beats a Bret Hart guy with the sharpshooter.
Yeah, it's
poetic justice.
Match was incredible.
It was. Oh, it was phenomenal.
It was so good.
Yeah.
Dude, FTR is, you want to talk about two guys that are firing on all cylinders. They are firing. All right, here, I'll throw this out. Now that we're in the tag team realm, which I love, by the way.
Yep.
The AEW tag team titles.
Yes. I saw this tweet.
Where are they? Are they even existing anymore? They're so not even the top 7 or 8 tag team in AEW or ROH for that matter. And they're the AEW. They're the main company's champion.
Now, obviously, obviously, the first blame is to go to Tony Khan and not being able to feature that. But also, is it who the titles belong to? Is that part of the blame?
You put the titles on them thinking that they were over enough, and then you took them off TV and made those titles irrelevant. So even if they were over enough, you've completely taken that from them. So even if they could have been really good to serviceable champions, they completely erased any interest, for me personally, in them actually being the champions. If they would have been continuously in storylines with the abundance of talent that they have in that company, tag team wise, it would have made sense. But right now, the Elite, the Hardys, FTR, Swerve and Lee, FTW, Taz's group, I mean, Penta and Phoenix and fucking House of Black. I mean, how many am I at? I'm
Blackpool
at 9.
Combat Club and Santana Ortiz.
So that's 11 that I have more interest in invested in because they've had much more TV time than the tag team champions. Like when you have 10 plus tag teams that are doing better than them, shit, you might as well give up at that point. You might as well be like, yo, Tony, here, take these. What the hell are we going to do with them? You're not letting us do anything with them. Here, take them. You're already going to do it anyway because it's double or nothing. They're probably not winning the titles. They've been so non-existent and irrelevant.
That's why I kind of hope they do give it to Keith Lee and Swerve, though.
which is probably what they're going to do. But again, if they give it to Starks and Hobbs, not a bad thing either, because they've already had more TV time too.
Yeah.
I mean, who was even familiar with Jurassic Express anymore? That sucks for Christian because he's the manager of that group, and he's had more fucking TV time. He's more over than them.
Well, I mean, he's the mouthpiece, which I get, but I mean, because Luchasaurus is very weak on the mic. Jungle Boy's not too bad. I feel like he's gotten better, but he definitely still needs help, especially if he's going to eventually go to singles. But yeah, that whole group, I don't care. I'm not invested. That's the goal, to get invested, and I could care less when I fast forward when I see Jungle Express. I don't care. And it's not because they're in-ring, because in-ring, Luchasaurus is amazing. We've seen him a dozen times live.
I think Jungle Boy has been substantially held back by being in this tag team.
Yes.
Or
yeah, which we've talked about before.
What used to be a faction. I mean, I think that he was groomed already. I mean, he had that incredible match with Omega, and he was fucking over as all hell. And then they put him in the tag team. They put the titles on him. He got to do nothing. I think he suffered the most out of all this because he was already prepped and groomed for a singles run, and they put him back. Like, he should be a singles guy. Nothing against Luchasaurus, but I don't see Luchasaurus honestly making it in AEW.
No, I don't see his contract being renewed.
It sucks to say that because you don't want anyone to lose their job, but there's going to be people that are going to be not re-signed.
Yep.
And it's not going to be any of these new, fresh crop of talent that they just got in. It's going to be like what we've seen, like the Janellas and the Marco Stunts and the people like that have been there from day one, but shiny toys presented themselves, and the old guard is out. The new guard / older guard somehow is in.
So sticking with tag teams, a tag team match that Young Bucks and Hardy fans have been waiting for since the Hardys signed with WWE and came back at WrestleMania is the return match.
The only thing that sucks is it's not going to be as good as Ladder Wars. It's just not. That was so good.
Yeah, but I mean, look, that's one of those matches. It's just like, oh, well, Edge and Christian and the Dudleys and Hardys are having a match. Well, it's not going to be as good as TLC, but like, yeah, absolutely. That Ladder Wars it's one of those classics that gets put up there for those who haven't seen it. You highly recommend. It's fucking amazing. And this match, yeah, it's gonna be fun because the Hardys and the Young Bucks have great chemistry, and it's about time that we got to see them now that Jeff is there and we get to see the match. I'm still looking forward to it.
Fun.
Yeah,
I think I'm more looking forward to the entrances over the actual match.
Just I want I want Matt to go broken again. I mean, there's more delete chants every week. Every time they're on the TV, there's more and more delete chants. The crowd is into it. They're ready to go. And side note, I've been listening to Freddie Prinze Jr., which sounds fucking ridiculous in my head because I think it was stupid when I said it. But Freddie Prinze Jr.'s podcast, Wrestling with Freddie, is fucking amazing. It is so good.
Why couldn't he just give us the rub and just fucking come on our show, be like, these guys are really great guys, and set us up for the future?
Dude, I've listened. I think I've like
fucking. We can't get ahead because all these people starting podcasts.
Dude, there's 2 or 3 episodes left of his 12 to 14 episodes, and I've listened to almost all of them except for 2 or 3. His storytelling and the stories that he has because he was a writer and all the things that he has gone through, and it is so good. I am in the car and I'm just fixed. Like I zone out, which is not good, obviously, but I'm driving. But
probably like, keep your eyes on the road.
I keep my eyes on the road, like I'm on autopilot. Like I'm not thinking about driving. I know where to go.
Don't drive around Larry. Don't drive around Larry when he's fucking in.
It is so good, and he had Matt and Jeff on this past episode, and I listened to that, and they were talking about how they thought of an idea of a cinematic like movie of matches to where they faced all the greatest tag teams, but they did them at different spots, and they would teleport to these different spots in the cinematic match. Like they would do Arn and Tully, they would do the Rock and Roll Express, they would do the Young Bucks, and they would go to like 2300 Arena. They would go out LA, and they would do I forget what the old legendary wrestling places in LA. I forget what he said, but I forget. And then he said, "Oh, in Chicago there was another one," and he was like, "We would go all around, and we would just face all these tags in the cinematic universe of these." I was like, "Dude, that would be so fucking cool! Like, it'd be so cool because
so it would have to be the Dudleys in ECW Arena."
Yeah, they didn't say. Well, that's impossible because I don't think Devon can wrestle anymore with his medical problems, and I don't think he can wrestle anymore. But they did say like he had an idea of going into the Atlantic Ocean and then teleporting and walking out of the Pacific Ocean in LA and like going to one of the arenas there. Like it was crazy, but it sounded so entertaining and so good. But all this stuff, if you haven't checked out Freddie Prinze Jr.'s, do it. It is fucking amazing.
Yes. Turn off this show and go.
Look, it's so good.
Say that shit.
As a wrestling fan, it is so good. He talks about Dolph Ziggler, and he talks with Xavier Woods, which is a really good episode. Everyone I've listened to is amazing. It's so good. It's really good.
Yeah,
but anyway,
it's a lot better than this.
He has better stories. He's been backstage for years. So
how the fuck do we get backstage? What the fuck, man? What are we doing wrong?
We got to be employed first.
Movie.
Summer Catch is a good movie. I don't give a shit what anyone says. I fucking love Summer Catch with Freddie Prinze Jr. I don't give a shit. That is one of my favorite movies. We still have two more matches I want to talk about before we end the show. And it's MJF Wardlow, because I think it's one of the best builds in AEW, period.
That's another one they got. They got Wardlow, and they're got on the precipice of a big star being made.
You know what? And Wardlow, I watched this past Dynamite, the lashes that he took and the aggression he hits people with, the taking out the security and how he makes it look. And look, he could be stiff and he could really be hitting them, but he makes it look real. He makes it look like he's legitimately beating someone's ass when he does it. And it's entertaining, and he's believable as a big guy. And I cannot wait for MJF Wardlow. I can't wait.
Yeah, I think Wardlow is going to be one of those guys that are going to have the rocket strap sooner rather than later, where he's going to be, I mean, if they do it right, he beats MJF, and he's now, I mean,
next in line?
Pretty much. I mean, he's almost getting to the point of where he's bigger than Adam Page.
Well, look, Adam Page and CM Punk, main event for the AEW title. Do you still have Adam Page going over, or do you have Punk actually winning the title?
I think Punk wins the title.
Really?
I think Punk holds the title, and I think Punk holds the title for a little bit. I don't know if he does a 435 day.
I knew that's where you were going with that when you smirked when you said it. I knew you were going to say that 435 days. No way in AEW is he able to hold on to that for 435 days.
Not necessarily true, because they can have multiple people come and Punk can beat them, because I think the ultimate goal is Punk Omega for the title. I think Omega ends up beating Punk. And I think with Omega being out for who knows how long now, I mean, I think Punk wins it. Punk goes on a run. Punk's the guy you want to go on a run at the top. He's one of the guys that can handle it. He made 430 some days fly by as champion. And people, I don't think we get babyface Punk for too long after he wins that title.
God, I hope so. I'm done with babyface Punk now. Like I kept giving him the benefit of the doubt. I'm done with babyface Punk. I don't like. That's why I'm hoping he kind of wins to shake something up, because I'm kind of getting stale on Punk at this point.
Punk or Page?
Punk. I mean, I've always been sour on Page. You know that. I haven't really loved that on Page. Although I feel like the championship run has made me more invested in him. I like him more now. But Punk, I feel like, yeah, it's about time. Like something has to happen. Something has to change. If it's holding the title and turning heel, cool. And maybe it'll help me get back more excited about seeing CM Punk on my screen. But
he's only so long he can pull the I'm happy to be here. Until he's not meant to do that for a long period of time.
Yes, I agree.
He's meant to be the brash, smug. I mean, you have Punk win it. You have Joe win the tournament. You have Joe face Punk. You have the Ring of Honor champion versus the AEW champion at a rematch of however long ago. And you book that for your next big pay-per-view and fucking look at that. That's a main event of fucking main events.
Well, next big pay-per-view for AEW is the clash with New Japan.
Well, yeah, you don't do it then.
Yeah. So it would be all it would be all out then.
Yeah.
And what's that?
October?
September.
Late
August, early September.
It's Labor Day, right?
Yeah. So is that your match? The ROH champ versus the AEW champ at All Out?
Yeah, but I don't know if they do title for title.
No, I don't think so. But you can build the, you know what I mean, the whole storyline of Ring of Honor. You have the Ring of Honor library to play, you know what I mean, their wars. Like that's the, like we said, when they acquired Ring of Honor, that's the coolest part, is being able to call back to a lot of the Ring of Honor stuff when you have Ring of Honor alumni with the company.
And then you can mix in, I mean, there's plenty of people that can face Punk until Omega comes back and not have him lose, but have very, very good and close call matches. I mean, you have Bryan Danielson, you have Jon Moxley. I mean, there's two people right there that can run a fantastic storyline against Punk. You got Adam Cole still. That would be another banger. Samoa Joe, of course. I mean, you even mix Wardlow in. They even have history now where Wardlow helped Punk beat MJF
with the ring.
And you can have, and that's honestly how you can turn Punk. If that's his first.
There's someone you didn't mention that I feel like could tell a really good story and be a really good callback, and that's Jericho.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean,
you know what I mean?
You could do that as time killer too, but I'm saying if you want to keep the younger people in there and not really bring in the 50-some-year-old right away, I think Wardlow beats MJF, skyrockets him, big baby face. You have Wardlow challenge Punk, be like, look, I helped you.
You helped me.
I'm the only reason you're actually in this position because you were able to beat, because that was the last substantial person that he beat. And then you turn Punk heel on Wardlow. And now you make Wardlow probably the biggest babyface of the company.
Yeah. Yeah.
But Wardlow doesn't beat Punk. Wardlow's a chaser, but he still stays at the top of the card.
I like that better.
Only problem with AEW is that it's hard to keep all these people at the top of the card. They're doing a good job with the Blackpool Combat Club. They're kind of a faction now, so you're not really seeing like big time wins and losses for singles. It's more like trios and tag team matches. Same thing with Adam Cole. He's not going to get affected. So, I mean, Wardlow and then Joe.
I like that a lot. Yeah, and I like Wardlow as babyface chasing. I love the babyface chasing.
Well, yeah, I mean, I don't think he wins the title right away, nor should he. Because I think
I agree.
I think they need a couple seasoned people to have the title to bring some dominance back to it. Because you don't want your title to get overshadowed. And it's kind of like what it's doing right now, is being overshadowed a little bit by everything else. There's a lot going on right now.
Well, there always is. They always try and fit as much as they can, you know what I mean, into every show.
But I think with Punk being the major champion, the main champion, I think that helps bring back the structure of what the championship should be. And that should be your main focus. Right now, you got the elite and all those people running around, and you're trying to run them through every storyline. So Punk, bring it back, and he fucking just holds down the title. And now you know that he will make this the main focal point. And if he's heel Punk, he will damn sure make sure. I'm skipping. He will damn sure make sure that this is the main focal point of the company, which is what you should have.
Yes.
And then again, you run it how I just said it. You got plenty of competitors. You even got a couple people that you can bring in to have, if Punk wants to be this rah-rah guy where he's actually going to do TV, you can have a universe Punk in a singles match on Dynamite. You can build up the guys that are like lower, like Daniel Garcia, Lee Moriarty, those guys.
Yeah, they need to be elevated a little bit. I mean, they're still very good, obviously, on the other shows, but they definitely need to get more time on the big show on Dynamite.
Well, that's who you're going to build too. That's like part of your future plan when you're Ricky Starks, another one.
Yuta, who's already being built with Blackpool.
Yeah, I said Yuta first.
Oh, my fault.
Nah, that's all right. You don't pay attention.
It's not true. So all right, yeah. I mean, I think that about covers it. I can't wait for this pay-per-view. I mean, like I said in the beginning, I think it's stacked. There's only maybe a match or two I could take or leave, but especially the pre-show.
Here's what we didn't even fucking mention: the women's title. They didn't even mention it.
Thunder.
That's how lackluster that's been booked.
Yeah, I don't like how they book Thunder Rosa. Like, I don't. She's never.
She's fallen in the freaking Jurassic Express territory, where she's being overshadowed by every other woman in the goddamn division.
Yeah,
every one of them. She's being overshadowed.
Yeah, I know. You know, unfortunately,
I'm sure what we just did for Jurassic Express and named 9 to 10 tag teams, we can name 9 to 10 women who are getting way better booked than Thunder Rosa.
Look, the top 4 that are in the semifinals of Owen Hart, right there, immediately go over.
You got Jade
and Jade too. I wouldn't put Anna Jay, but everyone else.
Necessarily.
Yeah, but those other 4 for sure.
Shit, you got Vicky Guerrero booked better than fucking Thunder Rosa.
And you know what I realized going over this card? Sammy Guevara is not even on the card.
Thank God.
Wait, you don't like Sammy Guevara now?
He's good. No, I've never really been a Sammy Guevara fan, and his face just keeps getting more and more punchable.
He's grown on me. Sammy Guevara's grown on me.
He's doing what he should be doing, and he's not supposed to appeal to me.
Yes.
Or anybody for that matter. He's supposed to have a punchable face. He's supposed to be the brash kid who shows off and who's an asshole. And that's exactly what he's doing. And that's how I think of him. I know it's just part of the game, but fuck Sammy Guevara. He's an asshole.
So he's good at his job is what you're saying.
He's good at his job. I'm not saying that. I mean, he's not. He's got a punchable face for a reason. But they're not doing Scorpio Sky. I think Scorpio Sky needs to just beat Guevara. That's it. And I think they need to run Scorpio Sky versus Ethan Page.
Cool.
I think Page needs to turn on him because Page is great. I love Ethan Page. I think he's another guy that needs to be in a singles run because he's got it all. He's got all the intangibles. Not saying that Scorpio Sky doesn't, because he does, but putting them two together, I'm not saying Sammy Guevara doesn't either, but Page has been another one who's been overshadowed that I think is long overdue for some TV time and to actually make him interesting for the company. Because he's a guy that came over and knows what he's doing on the mic, knows what he's doing in the ring. Him being solo and actually running against Scorpio, I think that does them both a favor.
Mm-hmm.
And then you go from there with whoever wins.
Yeah, I like that a lot. Especially, I mean, Ethan Page being featured. I agree. I think he should.
Page could be another MJF easily.
Yes. Yeah. He definitely has the chops to do that, for sure.
He could definitely get on that level. And you need people like that. You need people that you love to hate because they make great storylines for people that you want to root for.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think that's where you put the rest of that faction and you have Scorpio Sky split off and be the baby face and still have to go against Ethan Page with, and I can't think it was Dan Lambert. That's who it is, and Paige Van Zandt.
I don't even think he needs Lambert though. I think Lambert needs to go.
I like Dan Lambert. You're right. Ethan Page doesn't need him, but I like Dan Lambert.
I think he would stifle him. I think Lambert just breaks off and he just manages Paige Van Zandt. Let that be his focal point.
Yeah. All right. Well, everybody, we hope you enjoyed the show. We hope you enjoy the pay-per-view, and
a lot of insight on this one.
Yes, and hopefully we'll be talking to you soon. Thanks for watching.
It's a great chat, as they would say over across the pond.